Good morning, everybody. This morning demonstration is going to be something that you have seen live a few weeks ago, but unfortunately we didn't record that, so we are going to do it again as it's part of your final assessment for the level 2 diploma. So I'm going to go through the ingredients. The dish is the roulade, yeah, and it needs to be filled with a pastry cream and raspberry jam. So ingredients, you will need 6 eggs, which needs to be at room temperature. That's very, very important. If they are really cold, you are going to struggle to get a good aeration. So very, very important to have them outside overnight, or if they have been in the fridge and you come in the morning to do your assessment, you put them in warm water for about 10-15 minutes. So that's going to be quite important key stage in the making. Yeah, you need 180 grams of caster sugar, 180 grams of soft flour, and 50 grams of melted butter. Equipment wise, you just need bits and pieces really. You need a saucepan, which we are going to use as a bain-marie. You need a large bowl to beat your egg and your sugar. You need a whisk, you need a spatula to spray your roulade, a sieve to sieve the flour, a baking tray which has a piece of greaseproof on the top. And vital part of the process as well, it's to have a piece of greaseproof which has some caster sugar on the top. That's very, very important as well. So the processes are eggs in a bowl. You add the sugar to the eggs, beat them together. So you are letting the eggs to absorb the sugar, yeah? And the sugar in that process will break down the protein of the egg as well. So that's very, very important. You are going to sit your bowl over the bain-marie. So an important key point again here, if the water is too hot, you are going to cook your eggs, yeah? So very, very important that you can slightly touch the water. It should be about 80 degrees, yeah? The eggs coagulate at 80 degrees, so you have to be very careful. So if you think it's too hot, you can put that on the side, and then you beat your eggs until they are going to get nice aerated and fluffy, and they are going to slightly change color and they are going to become pale. Okay guys, so I've worked hard here for the past 12 to 15 minutes and I've created a nice aeration. So as you can see, the eggs have aerated, they've risen really, really well. They've doubled in size, I would say, yeah? Double the size of the volume you had at the beginning. And when I hold the whisk like that, if I let the mixture fold onto itself, it should hold like that slightly, yes? So that's what you are looking for. And that's ready now to add your flour. So at that stage, we are going to incorporate the flour. So you get your sieve, hold that above the mixture. And I want you to incorporate a third of that flour first, yeah? And I'm not going to use the whisk anymore, I'm going to use my spatula. So you get your spatula and you just do a figure of 8 here. And make sure you go right at the bottom of the mixture as well. Often the flour will sit there because of it's heavier than the egg. It's going to sit at the bottom. So every so often, go at the bottom, bring that back in as well, yeah? You want to try to keep as much aeration here as possible as well, yeah? So you want to be very, very careful at that stage. You worked really hard to create that fluffy mixture, so you don't want to make it heavy again, yeah? So the incorporation of the flour in 3 will be done very, very gently. So that's the mixture should look like when you've got all your flour. So at that stage, I'm going to incorporate my butter, and I'm going to use the same technique, yeah? Ensure the butter is cold as well. when you fold that into your mixture. So you do that very, very quickly here. Incorporate the butter. And then when it's all done, you are going to transfer that on your tray. So I didn't mention the reason to use the butter as well. It's going to enrich your sponge and it's going to give color as well. So when the sponge is going to cook, that's going to give you a light golden color, and that's what you are looking for, yes? So at that stage, I've got my tray ready here. I'm going to transfer the sponge mixture onto it, all of it, and I'm going to spread that using a spatula. Just like that. So, as you know, Victoria is doing the recording for us, and she's just mentioned to me that when she had a lesson with Trish, and Trish was doing the demonstration, Trish was using her hands to mix the flour in. And yes, it is possible to use your hand, and it is you know, a different technique, but you know, it's for you to maybe try both of them and see which one you do prefer. So that's another tip for you. Now you have your roulade ready on a tray. You need to put that in the oven, preheated oven. So very, very important, again, key to the recipe. The oven needs to be preheated at 180, yeah? And we are going to bake that for about 15 minutes.